Hi guys, Emily here. I am going to chat with you guys today about your activity called the Circle of Life. So the Circle of Life is a tool from the Institute of Integrative Nutrition that basically breaks out the 12 most important or impactful areas of our life. In integrative nutrition, they refer to these areas as our primary foods. So primary foods are the things that nourish us day to day prior to our secondary foods, the foods that we eat. So in your email, you have a document that looks just like this. This is the Circle of Life, and you can see it's divided up into 12 areas. Each of these areas represents an important aspect of your life, and your activity right now is simply to, without overthinking, without obsessing or overanalyzing, just plot on each point how you feel about each one of those aspects. So, for example, let's take finances. Depending on how you feel about your finances, you're going to plot a point either closer in towards the circle for less content, less satisfied, less joy, or further out if you are more satisfied or feel more contentment in that area. Now, here's the thing. This is meant to give you an immediate snapshot of how you feel right now in this moment about these areas. This isn't something that you are meant to dwell on for hours and write yourself a budget to discover. This is in the moment. How do I feel about my financial stability or my financial footing? How do I feel about my creative expression? Now, the other thing that Annie and I find often when we share this activity is that people get really hung up on the definitions of each of these, like joy, for example, or education, right? I want to tell you that you have free will to define these as you see fit. So education does not have to mean a 4-year degree or a master's level education. Education could be, auditing online courses. Education could be playing word games on your phone to stimulate brain activity. It's how are you stimulating, how content do you feel with education on a day-to-day basis in this moment. Once you plot all the points on here, you're going to connect all of those dots and just see what kind of shape you have. You are not meant to, again, overanalyze this once you've completed the activity. This is simply to see where you are and how you feel at a glance right now. That is one of the very first steps of self-care, is just starting to know and listen. So give yourself a minute to do this activity. Maybe you set a timer for just a couple minutes so that you don't overthink it. And one more little piece of advice I'll give you. If you find that you get really hung up on an area like education that I mentioned, feel free to flip the sheet over and write out your own definition of what education looks like to you. Feel free to define the relationship aspect. What does relationship mean to you? And then maybe you move forward with plotting the points. So shoot us a message. We're here for you, and we'd love to hear how your activity went.